So welcome to the route card training video. So this is an example of the route card that you will have been given, okay, and so you will need that. You will also need your route, okay, so I've got one here that has been printed out, so I'll turn this down a bit. A route there, also a piece of string is very handy, and a pen. You don't need this, but a compass is very handy, particularly because it's got the magnifying glass bit on there, so that's used helpful for seeing the contour lines, which we'll need to be counting shortly. And you may or you may not have the map for the area as well. Okay, so I've started filling already. So at the start of the top here, the day of the week that you're going out, so and the date and also the day. So I've put the first, it could be like the second, third, fourth if you're doing gold. Put the names of our group members here, and I've put our group name, so I've put OAC because it's the Open Award Centre. So if it was Greenhead, Group 1, Shelley, Group 4. Start out time, you'll be given the start out time. I've just used 9 o'clock, and the map, so you will know what map you're using. For this route, we're using the Bradford and Huddersfield 288 map on there. So this is an OS map. It's the most common walking map that we use. Okay, so if you can fill those bits out on your map. The next thing that we need to do is we need to put in our start. So it's the place and a grid reference. So on your route, if you can see this, I'll put that behind. Your route is marked on here. So we've got the start here, if you can see that, start LDW, so that's Little Deer Wood. So this is just a random route that I've just chosen. And as we go along, it's got a direction travel there, so we know which way we're going. Obviously it just says start, and we're following this yellow bit here. So this box here would be our first checkpoint, our first leg of our journey. And if you look closely, it's got a black line to a little pink reddish dot there, and that's the point. So this says railway bridge, and as you follow the route around, there's different checkpoints all along, and we're going to be finishing at the library there. So the first thing we need to do is we need to take a grid reference for the start point, and that will go in this top box here. Okay, so we need to put a place, so I'm going to write LDW, the Little Deer Wood, okay, and then the grid reference, okay, so you will have covered that in your other training. So when we're taking a grid reference, we read along the corridor, so the numbers along here first, and then we go the numbers going up, and we're looking for a 6-figure grid references. So it's really important though, when we're doing a grid reference, that we know which area and which of the country we are in to start with. So if I just show you here, so don't know how clear it will be on this, okay, but you will have seen this from your training. So the whole of the country is split into this 5x5 grid using the alphabet. Okay, can you just see Britain here in the centre? So most of Britain is covered by N, S, T, and we've got some in H as well. Okay, and then these grids then, this 5x5 grid is then split down. So if I turn the page here, split down into smaller grids. So each grid, let's get it in focus, is broken down again. So N, if we've got an N here, so it's N, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and we're actually in S, E. Okay, so the grid references that you take need to have these letters, because there could be a grid reference 204 361, okay, but that could be for all these, so there's like 50 of those. So we need to precede it with the 2 letters, and the letters, so those letters can be found in the corners of the map, in all 4 corners of the map, okay, and as you can see along the top of the map we've got our numbers and we've got them coming up the side as well. And on the OS map, so what each of these on the one is 1 kilometre apart, and on the 1 to 25,000 map it's 4 centimetres between these blue grid lines, so each way, so you've got 4 metre square there, so it's 1 kilometre square, and it's also broken down into tenths here, so 4 millimetres, and that is 100 metres, and these will help us when we're doing our grid reference. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to this other map. So this is the map that we're using. It's got our route on. Put this map behind it to support it. So to take our grid reference, we know it's in SE. Okay, so I'm going to put SE on my map, and then we're going to read along here. So there's the black numbers at the top there. We've also got these blue ones here, and we've got our numbers coming up here. So our start point is in, we've got 21 here, 21, and we're not a 6-figure grid reference, so we need to break this square down into tenths there. So count along, that would be halfway. So it hasn't got to 5 yet, it hasn't got halfway, so I would say that's 214. So that's SE. Just writing it down, 214, and now we need to come up, okay, here is 19, so let's break this square here up now, so 19, and that's about the 7th of the way up, so it's 197. Okay, so there we go, SE 214197. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to fill in this line here. Okay, so we need to look where our first checkpoint is. Go back to our map, and we need a grid reference for that. So we follow our route along. This is the first checkpoint here, the railway bridge. So I'm going to write railway bridge, and then I'm going to do the grid reference for that. So looking at that, that would be SE 223196. So we write that in there. SE 223196, and it was the railway bridge. Okay. So as we come along now, it says direction or bearing. Okay, so we're not taking a bearing, we're going to just do a direction using our compass points. So what we're looking for is from where we were from the start over to the railway bridge, what direction. So we've got north, east, south, west, and that's going across east. So all I'm going to do is put an E in there, like so. The next point is distance in kilometres. Okay, so this is where we need our string. Okay. So to do this, move this map out of the way a moment. Can you see that? Okay. So what I'm going to do with the string is I'm going to put it on the start of the point. The start there. I'm going to hold it in place, and then I'm going to follow it around on that track. So every time it changes direction, I'm going to move the string. You see I'm doing that, and then I'm going to put a point at the end of it. So I've got a mark, if you can see there, on the end. Okay, so we now need to measure that. So you can use your map here to help you measure it. Okay, and if I put it on the edge of this line here, it doesn't matter which line, I hold it there on the edge and straighten it out. Okay, and so we've got 1 kilometre, because we said these blue grid lines were 1 kilometre apart, and then it's just come over about 1/10 of the way onto the next grid line, so I know it's 1.1k. So I'm just going to write 1.1 in there for 1.1 kilometres. Now, what we need to do now is we need to work out our height climbed, okay? And that will help us then to work out how long each little leg of our journey is going to take us. Okay, so we need to know how long our walk's going to take us so we can plan it, so we know what time we're going to finish. Okay, is our route, is it suitable for the amount of time that we've got? So at bronze level, you're going out for 6 hours, so we need to make sure that we've got enough kilometres in there that it's going to take us 6 hours to walk. I mean, some of it can be used for your aim, which is totally fine. Obviously at gold level, you're walking 8 hours, so your route's going to be longer. And we walk at some 3 kilometres an hour. Okay, but obviously when we're walking uphill, it takes a bit longer. So this is why we need to work out how much height we gain in each leg, and that's going to help us give us our time for our walk. So to do that, we need to look at the orange contour lines. Can you see these here? And on our little leg, every time we go over a contour line that's going up, we count it. So the contour lines on this map are going up in 5 metre intervals. So some maps go up in 10, they do vary, but these are going up in 5 metre intervals. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to follow my route along, and it's, to start with, we're walking along the side of the river here. Well, we're contouring around, we've got the river there. We've got the river and the canal here, so it is quite flat. So there's not going to be many contour lines I'm expecting on there, so I'm going to look carefully at it. What you can use is, if you're struggling to see them, is use the magnifying glass bit on your compass. You may find it easier if you've got the actual map as well for the area. Have a look on here, because it's much clearer on there and you don't have the yellow line of your route on there. But as I'm going on here, I can just see one contour there. Okay, so I've gone up, let's just have another look, 2 contour lines. So I've gone up 10 metres, okay, 10 metres. Okay, so we need to work out now the time allowed for the leg. So we do that by using the timings that I've mentioned previously. So we said we walk 3 kilometres an hour. Let me just write this on the back of here so you can see. So tell you what, I'll turn it around first of all. So we walk 3 kilometres an hour. So 3 kilometres is 1 hour. Therefore, 1 kilometre is 20 minutes. And 100 metres will be 2 minutes. Okay. You see that? But we said we needed to add on some time for when we're walking uphill. So every time we go up, 10 meters, we add on 1 minute. Okay. So our route was 1.1 kilometers. So that would be 20 minutes for the 1 kilometer. So 20 minutes. So we've got 100 meters. So we're going to add on 2 minutes for that. And we were going up 10 meters. So we need to add on a minute for that. So it takes us 23 minutes for that leg. Okay. Okay. So what we need to do then is we're going to add on now time for stops and meals. Okay, so we've only just set off. It's 9 o'clock, we've just set off. It's taken us 23 minutes to walk there. So we need to remember we need to be doing our aim, okay, along the route. So that's what we can put in here. And time for taking off your jacket. You've just set off and you decided you're too warm or you're too cold. Okay, so I'm going to add on, just to make it a little bit easier number wise, I'm going to add on 7 minutes for that one. Okay, so 7 minutes, and then the total time for that leg, so the 23 minutes plus the 7 minutes is 30 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes, and then ETA, estimated time of arrival, so that if we've set off at 9, we're going to get there for 9:30. Okay, super. So that's our first line done there. What we need to do now is just do a bit of a description. Okay, the details of the route that we're going to follow. So if I get my map back out, I can see here we're starting at the woods, we're going up onto the main road, turning right and going over the bridge, and then we come to the pub here, so we're turning left by the pub and taking the footpath, and that joins a bridleway by the railway line, and we're following the railway line east on there. Okay, so that's all I'm going to put on there. So right, not right at all. So up the lane, up lane to main road, I'm going to turn right over the bridge, and then we're turning left by the pub, and we're following footpath, follow footpath to the bridleway. Okay, and then I'm turning left on, I'm going to put BW for bridleway, left on bridleway, and it's going along the railway line to bridge. Okay, so I've just briefly described that route there. And then this last bit here is the escape route. Where could we go? So say something had happened, we needed to get an ambulance or we needed to go and get help, your phone wasn't working. Where along that route could you go to go and get help? And for there, I would put the pub. So I'm just going to put pub on there. So that is your whole line there for your first leg. It's got all the information on there. Okay, so I'm going to do the same for the next leg now. So the next one is the hole there. Okay, take the grid reference. Okay. So I've got my grid reference. Now I need to know what direction. So again, so we're going from here to here. Okay. So that would be north, east, south. So we're going from there to there. So it would be south, east. We're going on that one. South, east. And measure our distance. And some piece of string on. Too many things on the table. There we go. So again, all I'm going to do is put the piece of string on and measure around there, following it round all the way around, and then I'm going to put a mark on, not losing. It's got a few marks on here, not losing my place. Okay, and then I'm going to use the edge of my map here. If your map is printed to scale, so we said on this 1 to 25,000 map, it was 4 centimeters across, and I can use my ruler on here to measure it across. This one is printed to scale. So if it's printed to scale, if I use my piece of string on here to measure, you might find it easier to measure on the main map because you've got the blue lines. It's split into the tenths on there, so you might find that a bit easier. So if you just put it on a number, it doesn't matter which way you go, and then you can count off how many of these blue little marks at the other end. So let's see, I have to put it down because I can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that next leg is 1.5. So all I've done is I've put it on there and I've measured across. Okay, so it's 1.5. So I'm just write 1.5, and then height climbed in meters. So again, I'm going to count the orange lines going up. Okay, we can tell if we're going up or down by which way the numbers. Let me see if I can show you on here where my finger is. Can you see the numbers there? Okay, so the numbers are saying we've got 75, we've got 100 here. So if I'm going up this path here, I would be going up. I'd be going up here because the contour lines go around there. If I was going that way, I would be going down. And if I was taking this path here, I'd be contouring round. So I wouldn't really be going. It wouldn't be that much up and down edge there, because I'm contouring round. I'm following the contour lines around. So look at which way the numbers are going, so you know whether you're going uphill or downhill. And there's a bit of a clue here as well, because we've got the river at the bottom here. So I know here I'm going to be going uphill because I'm not going to find the river and the canal at the top of the hill. Okay, so we're coming down, we're coming up out of the valley. So I'm just going to count these contour lines now. I'm going to use my magnifying glass. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm contouring round on this bit, so it's following the contour lines down, round. I'm going downhill a bit there, I'm coming down to the back. So I've got 7, hadn't I? It's going up the hill then from the back. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I've counted 7 coming up here, and then we've contoured round, and then I've carried on counting, and I've got up to 12 as we're going up the hill, so 12. Okay, so I've got 12 contour lines, but they're at 5 metre intervals, so I need to have that. So let's say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Or I can just divide it by 2. So 12 divided by 2, and then I've done 0, so it's 60. So I know I've got 60 metres climbed. Okay, so 1.5 kilometres, 60 metres climbed. So I need to work out the total time for the leg. So we'll use our sheet again. So 1.5, so 1 kilometre, 20 minutes, 10 minutes for 0.5 for half a kilometre, 500 metres, so that's half an hour, and then 6 minutes because we've got 60 metres climb. Okay, so 36 minutes for that leg. 36 minutes. Okay, and then we're going to add on some time for a break. Okay, so we're going, there's lots of interest there, so I'm going to add on 14 minutes. Okay, so I've got time to do my aim and time to stop for a drink of water if we want. So I'm going to add 14 minutes on there. Okay, so the total time for the leg is going to be 50 minutes. So then I need to add on what time I'm going to get there. So it's 9:30. So add in 50 minutes. That's going to be 10:20. And then I need to write a description. Okay, so I'm going to complete the rest of these and then we'll come back to it at the end and I'll show you how to total it up. What I've done is I've worked out the times up to here before I've gone on to the next one. So I know what time to put lunch in. So I've put in an extra time for stops here. So I've got lunch on there. Okay. So now I'm going to total everything up at the bottom. So I'll total everything up. So 16, 20, 25. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7.5 k. Height climbed. So 5, 8, 9, 15. So 155 meters climbed. Total time. Okay. Right, so 4 hours and 6, so we've got it's 7.5 k. We've climbed 155 meters and the total time is 4 hours and 6 minutes. And in here you could put your when you know your supervisor and their number, you could put those in there, you'll be given those. Okay, so that is how to complete your route card. Obviously I've just picked a short route just for demonstration, so your route will be longer than that, longer than 7k, and it will take you longer as well, so it depends on whether you're doing bronze, silver or gold. So yeah, hope that's helped. Any problems, please get in touch with us. Okay, thank you.